Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what would our planet Earth look like within 50 years? Whether it's the land that we walk on, the water that we drink, eat, swim in, cook with, whatever it is, pollution fills all those gaps within our planet Earth. But today I'm going to be talking to you guys about water pollution. And water pollution is specifically important because without water, our entire existence would cease to exist. And water pollution is actually a new form of pollution which has been underrated since the early 1990s. And studies have shown that only 2.5% of the water is fresh, but only 1% of it is actually even accessible. And most of those are actually considered within glaciers. So glaciers are actually what make that fresh water. Water pollution has actually been taken into global crisis mode, which means that it has now been dedicated to putting an end to it as immediately as possible. And for DoSomething.org, water pollution is now a global crisis that kills over 1 million seabirds, 100 million sea mammals each year. Plastic bags alone kill 1 million aquatic life. And that's just plastic bags alone. That's not including straws, which get stuck in turtles' noses. Larger fish are able to actually swallow those, but plastic is just not digestible, so it just gets stuck in their stomach, and it's like unable to digest, kind of like chewing a piece of gum. So, and over 8 million metric tons of trash get tossed into our ocean each year, which is equivalent to a garbage truck being dumped into our ocean every single minute of every day. And that's stated by National Geographic, which is a video by the American Express and Partly. And scientists have estimated that over 3.5 million people have dealt with water shortages since the early 2015, which was stated by the Conservative Energy Future. It has not only affected the mammal and marine life population, but the ecosystem as well. So this includes the coral reef, which has had discoloration from all the trash being thrown into it. It's what marine biologists call bleaching. The coral is bleached, and that should mean all the chemicals and all the compounds and stuff have collected within their pores and just slowly killing them. It's almost like ingesting a toxin into your body, and it's just slowly killing you from the inside out from just digesting it. For example, the coral reef, it is filled with so many physical environments, and it is part of our ecosystem. It is consistent with all the algae that gets acquainted to the fish that eat on it. So the littler fish, they normally munch on algae, which algae is just biologically made by the sun and the bacteria that lives in the water, but it's still considered part of the ecosystem because it's part of the food chain. Well, when the ocean gets polluted, like how bleaching happens with the coral reef, it's the same thing that happens with algae. The algae just dies, and soon the fish won't have anything to eat, and those species of fish will die off, and the fish that eat those fish will die off. It's just a big food chain that just goes on. So once that starts affecting one element of the food chain just breaks, and it causes a global crisis, is what we call it, within the ecosystem. And that was stated by the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary. And not to mention that pollution has gotten so bad within our waterways that there are not one, not two, and not three, but 5 Great Barrier Reef patches. Those sit within the Pacific Ocean, and each of them are the size of Texas, double the size of Texas, and that's stated by the National Geographic. But the ways that we can start minimalizing stuff like this is quit using so much oil, so much gas within the car. Just recycling one plastic bottle is able to generate one light bulb for 3 hours. And just imagine like how much water that you drink out of a water bottle each day and how much that could actually power your house or your car or anything for that matter. Just recycling one tin can generate 3 hours of television, and one glass bottle can generate 25 minutes on a computer. And that's by the recyclingguide.org. So my organization that I picked, they're called 4Ocean. They are actually the largest company that has been helping to stop pollution within the system. And for each bracelet that you buy, a pound of ocean gets taken out of our ecosystem every day. And they're only $20 a piece, but by selling them or by buying them, you are helping out the ecosystem. And without our waterways, we aren't able to live as a species. So I ask, just think about it. The next time that you see a donation, or even for the 4Ocean bracelets, think about your ecosystem. Think about the food chain, and think about the humankind. Because without it, we wouldn't be here. Thank you.